Hello, at the end of the day here. Ferris Thompson with the X Prize, and we're honored to be here, excited to be here, and we're all about, our mission statement is to create radical breakthroughs for the benefit of humanity. And this is clearly one of those areas where we need one of those breakthroughs. And so let me show you a short little video about who we are and what we're about and some of Charlotte's peers. Let's see if this works here. No video. Okay. That's all right. We'll go without the video. So what we like to talk about or ask you about is, what do you prize? And this first photo here is of my mother, who I lost to cancer last year. And I prize her because she introduced me to the ocean at Charlotte's age. And it's been a love affair ever since. This is me in Fiji prizing a very large wave. And you know, of course, I prize the ocean for all the things we've heard about today. It gives us life. It gives this planet life. It gives us a place to play. And it's going to be a place for our children and our grandchildren to play, hopefully forever, if we, together, do what we need to do. So how do we take what we clearly care about, what we're passionate about, and turn it into real solutions? Well, that's what we're all about at the X Prize. And as we heard all today, we have an incredibly intractable, impossible problem in front of us that is going to take a collective effort to ultimately solve. No one really owns the ocean plastics problem in a singular sense. There's an incredible environmental cost to it. Reuse is more expensive than production. We've heard all the reasons today. Well, it's a perfect X Prize. And the reason it's a perfect X Prize is because X Prizes have this amazing ability to incent those people and those individuals and organizations to come forward with the solutions. So here's what we propose: to create a $10 million X Prize to create commercial alternatives to petroleum-based plastic resins. So you just heard Patrick Kenny speak about bioplastics and biopolymers. What we want to do is accelerate that, bring the future forward. And how do we know and how do we have hope that this could happen and that we can do this? Well, we've done it a few times before. We're most famous for the Ansari X Prize, when Peter Diamandis raised a few $1 million in St. Louis that ultimately led to a $10 million prize, that ultimately led to Burt Rutan, backed by Paul Allen and Richard Branson, flying into space about 6 years ago. That was our first X Prize, and with that success, we went into X Prizes in health, environment, energy, and then most recently, we awarded the $10 million Automotive X Prize to prove that 30 miles per gallon, 40 miles per gallon, 50 miles per gallon weren't enough. Our winning teams had 187 miles per gallon, 180 miles per gallon, and 102 miles per gallon. Nancy Pelosi hosted the award ceremony. President Obama had one of the teams over to the White House, and Secretary Chu hosted the rest of the teams at the Department of Energy. So, and we generated more than 3.6 billion impressions around the world around that prize just a few weeks ago. We also are in love with the ocean too. And this summer, we're of course inspired to do something about that. So we launched the $1.4 million Wendy Schmidt Oil Cleanup Prize. And the basic idea here is to greatly accelerate the ability to clean up oil, because we know we're going to have another one of those accidents. We look to award this prize next year. So again, we can't wait. We know that we're going to have this problem. We're going to have this problem. We need to do these things now. So what are the hallmarks of an X Prize? Well, one of the biggest and most important hallmarks is the leverage. So Peter raised $2.5 million nonprofit money in the mid-90s. Took him about 6 years to find $10 million for the prize money for the Ansari Prize. 26 teams spent $100 million to win a $10 million prize, right? And today, that sustainable prize that industry is now worth north of $1 billion. And a lot of those teams are participating in the privatization of NASA. We have another prize called the Google Lunar X Prize, which is a $30 million prize that Google is putting up. And NASA is looking to provide some additional seed capital. They're going to announce it shortly to inspire these 24 teams to go to the moon in a low-cost way. So it's just a great example of how highly leveraged and efficient and how these ultimately spark industry. It all starts with defining what the challenge is, which is really clear and simple, which is here to reinvent plastic and make it biodegradable, truly degradable. And what are the key attributes of an X Prize? We go after problems exactly like this, where there's clearly market failure. Where are the incentives for the industry to change their ways? Where are the incentives for the policymakers to do what they need to do? We want to make sure that X Prizes go after very clear and simple rules. We want to make sure that they're bold and audacious, and clearly this is. We want to make sure they're attainable, not impossible. We're completely solution agnostic. We're all about defining the problem. We don't care how you solve it. You just need to bring that problem forward. We're global. In those competitions I just talked about, in the Auto Prize, we had 111 teams from 17 countries. We're telegenic, so we're on television, we're in media, 3.6 billion impressions. We form that platform to tell that story, and this story is so important to tell around ocean. And we can be one in a duration of 3 to 8 years. And we want to make sure that ultimately there's some sort of sustainable result, that it'll keep going into the future. So the simple proposition for the Ocean Plastics X Prize is the first team to create 5 biodegradable plastic resins will win $10 million. It has to meet ASTM standards for marine and fresh water, and it has to be truly degradable. Doing the research we've done out there and what you've just even heard today, we think this is attainable, but we need to drive it. We need to incent it. We need to force it to happen. And that's what an X Prize is all about. What will success look like? Dozens of teams. And by the way, the Wendy Schmidt Prize, which we just announced a couple months ago, has 354 teams already signed up. And we think we'll have 600 teams by the end of this year. So dozens of teams from around the world will compete to be the future suppliers of the right kind of plastic. The metric tons upon which plastic is purchased will change, so we'll change the economics of what's happening here. We'll obviously decrease our dependency on petroleum products. And at the end of the day, we're going to catalyze the innovation we need to solve the problem and create a platform to tell the story about the ocean and why you should care about it. So that's what success will look like. One last video. So the last and probably most important note is that we do it with you. And I've met a number of folks already here at this, on the Thursday night meeting and today, where we do this together. Some of you might be teams. Some of you might be endorsements. Some of you might be partners. Some of you might help us find funding. But it's really, just like we've been doing here at this whole event today, it's we do it together. And that's how we do an X Prize. So if you want to be involved, come talk to me, and we'd love to partner with you. Thank you.